Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Let's get started. Before we get started with the overview of the exterior and the interior of this truck, let's just talk a little bit about what we're looking at here. So this right here is the fully redesigned 2022 Toyota Tundra. It's the first year of Toyota's third generation of this truck. So Toyota has gone away with the 5.7 liter V8, and now in its place we have two different powertrain options. You can either choose between the twin turbo 3.5 liter V6 or that same 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 with a hybrid, which the TRD Pro only comes in the hybrid. And Toyota is calling this 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 hybrid the iForce Max. The iForce Max powertrain of this new Tundra gets about 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. That's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and that's a big step up not only in power, but also gas mileage as opposed to the second generation Tundra. This TRD Pro Tundra gets 19 miles per gallon averaged. That's 18 in the city and 20 in the highway, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it is an upgrade from about the 14 miles per gallon that we were getting with the old 2021 Tundra TRD Pro. And the TRD Pro only comes as a 4x4 and with the 5.5 foot bed. So usually there are two bed options. We have a 5.5 and a 6.5 foot bed option. But if you're going to be looking at a TRD Pro, 5.5 foot bed is going to be the only configuration. Let's also talk about this color here, which this right here is Solar Octane. Now every year Toyota has one color that's going to be exclusive to the TRD Pros. For the 2022 model year, so the first year of this Tundra, it's going to be Solar Octane. So this right here is the TRD Pro exclusive color for 2022. If you want to get a 2022 Tundra and you want this Solar Octane color, you can only get it on TRD Pro. Now Toyota has already announced that for the 2023 model year, Solar Octane is going to be available again. So this is pretty much a common theme. For example, like here we have this Tacoma. In 2020, Army Green here was an exclusive color to the TRD Pros, and then in the following years they kind of brought it over to the non-TRD Pro models. Most likely the same thing is going to happen here with the Tundra, but if you want it on a 2022 Tundra, the TRD Pro is going to be the only way to get this color. Alright, now that we got some of that information out of the way, let's go ahead and start this overview by talking about the exterior of the truck. We're going to start with the front, work our way around, and then we're going to go inside and talk about some of the features that we have in there. So starting up here in the front of the Tundra TRD Pro, the first thing that is going to stand out to most people is going to be this heritage style front logo. So right here we have Toyota spelled out letter by letter, which is pretty unusual because most of the other Tundras and most of the other trucks that Toyota makes just have the Toyota emblem right here in the center. It's mostly only the TRD Pros that have this kind of heritage style spelled out lettering of Toyota in the front. Right underneath the Toyota lettering, we have an LED light bar, which Toyota calls the TRD LED light bar. And you actually have a control for this near the steering wheel inside the cabin of the truck. And then just right underneath that light bar, we have a camera, which is one of the cameras that are going to be used for the multi-terrain monitor system. The truck has a bunch of cameras around it to help you out with off-roading and things like that. Just above that Toyota lettering, we have these three amber colored lights right here. Now each of them also say TRD, so if we look inside of the light, they have TRD written inside of them. Now these, a lot of people, myself included, call these things Raptor lights because they were popularized by the Ford F-150 Raptor, but Toyota is calling these things the marker lights. Moving further along, we have our massive open grille right here, so you can see some of the internals right here, some of that cooling system of this truck. And at the bottom of the grille, we have a radar right here, which is going to be used for Toyota Safety Sense 2.5, which this truck has. It has a lot more safety features that the previous Tundras didn't have. So it's going to have things like the full speed dynamic radar cruise control. It's going to have a better lane mitigation system. So it's actually going to correct the steering now that this truck has electric power steering. And so the safety system in this truck is going to be a whole lot better than it was in previous years. Just down below that grille, we have this little camo print right here, which Toyota calls the black tactical camo. And then we also have Tundra indented into this plastic piece right here with the camo on it. We also have our parking sensors right here, as well as some fog lights. Moving to the side from all of that, we have our auto leveling LED headlights here with LED daytime running lights. Then just below that, we have a little bit of ventilation for the truck. So you can see we have a little cutout right here. It's kind of built into the design right here of the headlight. And then just down below that over here on the bumper, we have another parking sensor. Moving on over to the hood, on both sides of the hood, we have this black piece of plastic right here that says TRD Pro. And this right here is just for aesthetics, but it really reminds me of how some of the Jeep Wranglers have these hood clamps right here on the hood. Now these aren't hood clamps, you know, we still have our regular release for the hood inside the cabin, and then we go over here and we push a little lever. But this just looks really cool, and it reminds me of those Jeep Wrangler clamps for the hood. Moving over to the side of the truck now, we have our fenders right here, which also have that black tactical camo pattern to them. It's a little bit less noticeable here on the fender, but it's still there. If we go all the way in, we have that black tactical camo. And then we also have another one of these marker lights right here on the fender, which also says TRD on it. It's that amber color marker light. Moving on over to wheels and tires. For wheels, we have these 18-inch forged aluminum BBS wheels. These are 18-inch wheels. They are a 6-lug pattern, just like the Tundras have been for a while now. And our tire is a Falcon Wild Peak. The tire size is 285/65/18s. Now that we have access to see the suspension of the Tundra TRD Pro, we can talk about some of the stuff that we have down here. So firstly, you can see this aluminum skid plate right here that says TRD on it. That TRD is stamped into that aluminum. We also have our Hvac shocks as a part of the suspension. So if I go all the way up here inside the truck, you can see it even says TRD Pro on those Hvac shocks there. And then down here, we also have our TRD Pro front stabilizer bar. And for the first time in the Tundra's history, we now have coil springs as opposed to the old leaf spring. Now, continuing on over with the side of the truck over here, you can see we have these black outside mirrors right here. Now, what's really interesting about these mirrors here is that they actually have a lot of functions. So we have blind spot monitors on these mirrors. These are also heated mirrors. They fold in as well with the touch of a button on the inside of the cabin. And then these are also auto dimming at night, which is pretty unusual to see in a Toyota product. That's something that they usually only do with the Lexuses, to have auto dimming outside mirrors. But it's something that we do have right here on this truck. We also have one of our multi-terrain monitor cameras underneath this mirror as well. And along the pillars of the truck, we have some gloss black, which is kind of interesting because that gloss black ends as you go up towards the roofline. So you can see right here between the two doors, we have that gloss black again, but it ends as we go up to the roofline. So on the roofline, we still have that solar octane, which it does look a little bit strange, but with this orange and black combo, I think I like it the best. On some of the other Tundras that we've seen, like the non-TRD Pros that we reviewed on the channel already, they don't really look the best, but with this orange and black combo, it's something that I can get behind. Now, moving on to the door handles, we do have a smart key system in this truck. So if we go ahead and just put our hand right here on the door handle, it's going to unlock as long as the key is nearby. And then we can go ahead and tap on this line right here to lock the truck. But what's really interesting is that we don't have gloss black handles or even solar octane handles. We kind of just have like this regular matte black handle right here. But it would be nice if we got some gloss black door handles to match some of the other gloss black stuff that we have around this truck. Now, moving on over here to the bed of the truck, what's really interesting here is for the first time we have an automatic locking fuel door in a Tundra. So one of my biggest complaints about Toyota trucks in the past years have been the fact that anybody can just open up your fuel door and pretty much just siphon your gas. But finally, for this redesigned Tundra, we actually have an automatic locking fuel door. So when the truck is locked, this isn't going to open up. And then when the truck is unlocked, this is going to be allowed to open up. Now, moving on over to the rear, we have the same tactical camo on the fenders, same wheels and tires. Suspension is pretty much the same. I don't know if I mentioned, but the TRD Pro does have a 1.1-inch lift as opposed to some of the other Tundras that we have in the lineup. Now, moving on over to the back of the truck, we have our 5.5-foot bed here. We have TRD Pro stamped into the tailgate. So over here, you can see it's indented inwards right here. We have more of this tactical camo right here along the back of the tailgate. We also have more marker lights right here, except these ones are red and they don't say TRD on them anymore. Then we have our little release right here for the tailgate. And what's interesting about this is it doesn't actually pull upwards like a lot of other trucks. It's just a button that we push. Moving down below all that, we have more of this tactical camo. We have our parking sensors for the back. We have a Class 4 receiver here. Now, I'll go ahead and put up the towing capacity of this Tundra on the screen since I don't know it off the top of my head, but this isn't the most that a Tundra can tow. If you get a double cab, for example, of some of the other variants like the 1794, Limited, Platinum, and SR5, if you get the double cab version of those, they can tow up to 12,000. This one doesn't do quite 12,000 because it has the Crew Max configuration. And then right over here beside the license plate area, we also have our trailer pin connection. So if you want your lights to work, if you're towing something, you can have your left turn signals, your backup lights and whatnot. And inside the bed, nothing too crazy over here. You know, we just have some lights, and then we also have a 100-watt outlet right here under this cover. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the interior of the TRD Pro Tundra now. So starting off right here, as usual, with the door card, you can see there's not really a whole lot going on, but we do have a lot of storage. So for example, down here we have one of our JBL speakers. We have a whole bunch of, you know, places where we can store water bottles and different objects. We also have another storage spot right over here underneath these window switches, and then a smaller little cubby right here just behind the window switches. We have our control over here so we can fold in our mirrors. Right now we have it set to the middle, so when we lock the truck, it's going to automatically fold them in, but we can also manually fold them in or open them out. We have our mirror controls as well as 2 positions for memory seats. And before we fully get in, let's take a look at these seats right here. So these right here are Toyota Softex material. This is the fake leather. And then we also have that black tactical camo, which is printed into these seats. So it's a little bit easier if we take a look at the back seat. You can probably see it a little bit better there. We have that camo right there. And then kind of the outer portions and the headrest of the seat are just the black Softex. What's also really nice about these is they have a lot of red stitching around them. And then we also have TRD Pro stitched into the seat right here for both of the front 2 seats. And both of the front seats are also power adjustable. They also have lumbar support as well, so we can go ahead and extend that back portion right there. Also, before we fully get into the truck, we have a bunch of buttons right here. So we have different light controls right here. We have that TRD light bar, which is underneath that Heritage Toyota logo. In the front of the truck, we have our bed lighting as well. Automatic high beams are opening for our fuel door. Heated steering wheel, power on and off for the 120 volt AC outlet. We have our brightness for the center display gauge, which is all digital. We're going to show you guys that in a second. We have our odometer trip, and then it looks like our parking sensors to be turned off. We have a button for that as well. We also have these little sport pedals down here, so you can see they kind of have this like sporty pattern to them. And then just to the left of that, we have our hood release. All right, and jumping inside the truck now, you can see we have this nice leather-wrapped steering wheel right here. There's a red stripe at the top, and then at the bottom it says TRD. We also have 3 rows of buttons right here on the left and right side. So the left side right here is basically just going to control the menus that we have on our 12.3-inch digital gauge right here in the truck. And then on the bottom row, we have our audio and multimedia controls. Over to the right side on the bottom, also again, our audio and multimedia controls. And on the right side, we have our controls for things like the lane mitigation system and the dynamic radar cruise control. And behind the steering wheel, we have our TRD start-stop button. Let's go ahead and start the Tundra here, and we're going to show you guys what that startup animation looks like and what that 12.3-inch display looks like as well. So you can see when I turn it on, it says Tundra iForce Max, and there's actually a couple different startup animations that can play when you turn on the truck. But you can see now that we have it turned on here, let's go ahead and close the door. Or it looks like it's actually just going to idle down for me. But we can go ahead and control with our steering wheel controls over here on the left. We can control this little left side menu that's right over here. So I can go ahead and hit return right now because the door is open, and then we have a whole bunch of things here. Like right now we're looking at our settings. We can look at fuel economy and things like that, and we can go through each of these menus as well. But what's really cool is you can also control what is going to be shown on the right side of this MID. So if I go ahead and go over to the settings right here, and I go ahead and scroll down, we have customized right side. So if I go ahead and press OK right here, or hold down OK, you can see right now we're showing the boost gauges, but we can also switch this to pitch and roll, tow gauges, or just turn off the right side of the screen totally. So let me just go ahead and turn it on to tow gauges right here, and you can see the right side of the screen changes. So this entire screen right here is digital, none of it is analog, and it looks really nice. You know, it's covered underneath this little part of the dash right here, so it doesn't really reflect any of the sun. And you can see we have 6 miles on this TRD Pro right here. Moving on over to the center, we have our 14-inch display right here, which does have Toyota's new multimedia system. Now this software is the same one that's going to be coming to a lot of Toyotas in 2023. We already have this software on the BZ4X, but it's also going to be coming to cars like the RAV4, the entire Corolla family. It's going to be coming to the Highlander, the Venza. A few other models for 2023 are also going to get this software right here. Now the screen size is not going to be the same. I believe the Tundra is the only one that has the 14-inch screen right here, but the software is going to be the same on the screen. So we have all sorts of really nice features here. We have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. There's dual Bluetooth, so you can switch between 2 different phones depending on who's driving. You can also have your own personal information so that if you hop into the truck or if you hop into the car with your phone, it's automatically going to have all your stuff set up. And also the built-in maps with this software is Google Maps. So, you know, gone are the days of having really bad manufacturer maps built into cars. So we just have Google Maps built into the software now, and it's honestly really easy to use. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but most people are just going to plug in Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's wireless, and they're going to be done with it. Speaking of wireless, we do have also a wireless phone charger right over here, and I like how it stands up vertically because you can kind of just rest your phone right here, and then it's just pretty much just going to charge your phone. You still have access. If you get a notification, you can see what's going on. It's not done poorly like some other cars like the Highlander, where it's kind of just hidden away in the center console area. Now right below the screen, you can see we have our HVAC controls. Nothing really too crazy going on here. We kind of have these like tactical switches right here to change things, move them up and down. We do have heated and ventilated seats for both the driver and the passenger side. So you can see right now the ventilated seat is turned on over there for the passenger. What's really cool right here about this volume knob is it's also very tactical. So it has a lot of these ridges on it, and it also has these like fake screws right here. So it just looks really cool. We also have a couple more buttons right here underneath the HVAC controls. So if you're going to be towing a trailer, you're going to want to push this button right here for the trailer assist. We have our 360-degree cameras, which let me go ahead and shut the door here, and I'm going to show you guys what that 360 camera looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and hit view right here. You can see we're going to do a surround view of everything that's around the truck, and then also we can go ahead and tap the screen right here. We can pause it, we can look at different angles, but if we go ahead and put the truck into reverse, you can see we have what is behind us, and then also we have a top-down view as well. And then we can also look at different views right here, so we can see, for example, what's in front of us, what's to the sides in front of us, to the sides behind us, and then we have that top-down view, which is over here on the right side. We also have our button to turn off traction control. We have our emergency lights, and then we also have a rear differential locker. So if you want your wheels to spin at the same speed in the rear, you can go ahead and do that by pushing right here. Now note that you do have to be in four-wheel drive to use this though. We also have this really cool shifter right here. It has red and black leather stitching all around it. It even says TRD on it. We have this nice button right here, and then it goes up and downwards. We also have our brake hold feature, so we don't have to press the brake the entire time if we don't want to roll forward. And then we also have our emergency parking brake, which does go up and down automatically, but if in emergency, we can always just pull it up right here. All right, and moving on to four-wheel drive controls. So gone are the days of having like a secondary lever to switch you between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Right here, we have this little button system. So if I go ahead and just put the truck into drive here, I can go ahead and push down right here and switch into four-wheel drive high. And then if I want to go into four-wheel drive low, I'm going to have to go into neutral and switch into that. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm on pavement. But moving on from the four-wheel drive controls, we have right here different drive modes that you can do. So basically, we have these four buttons right here, and we also have this dial. So depending on what is pressed, this dial will do different things. So right now we are on drive mode. So if I go ahead and turn this dial right here and look at the screen, it's going to change between sport, normal, and eco. And we can also see that right here in the center display. So right now I'm in eco, I can go to normal, and I can go to sport. Now what this knob right here does is going to change depending on which one of these options you have selected. So if I go ahead and hit tow haul mode right here, now by turning this dial, I'm switching between tow and tow plus. Now same thing goes right here for MTS and DAC crawl control. So with MTS right here, basically this is the multi-terrain select. Now when I switch this dial right here, I can switch between deep snow, mud, sand, dirt, or auto, so I can tell the car kind of what terrain I'm on while I'm in four-wheel drive. So MTS and then crawl control / downhill assist control is only going to work when you're in four-wheel drive. So this is pretty cool. This knob will change what its function is depending on what is going on with the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the MTS now, and we're going to go ahead and head back into two-wheel drive. So we also have plenty of storage right here in this center area. So you can see right by that wireless phone charger, we have just more storage, which is where we're holding the keys right now. We have two cup holders right here, and then we have our center storage right here. So we have this little tiny area, which you can open up and put some smaller objects in, or you can open up this entire area, which there's two buttons to open it. You can either open it from the driver or the passenger side. Each one is going to do the same exact thing. But we open up this large center console right here. We have a USB type A and a USB type C, as well as some more storage. So this goes down pretty far. Lots of storage for this big truck. And then we also have two cup holders right behind us as well. And moving on now to the passenger side, you can see from the passenger side view, basically we're just going to be looking at this little Toyota right here, which is actually really cool. It's like these raised letters right here into the passenger dashboard. And then just down below that, we have our glove box. Over here on the door card, you can see we have more of that same water bottle storage, the same storage right here underneath the window switch, same small storage right here. We don't have, our mirror controls and whatnot, but we have one of our 12 JVL speakers as well right here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move upwards now. We're going up over here to the dash of the car. You can see we have a little storage spot right here where you can just put a couple objects, and then we also have a 12-volt, 120-watt power outlet here as well. Moving up a little bit further, you can see we have a digital rear view mirror. So right now it's just acting as a normal mirror, but if I flip this switch right here, it's gonna act as a digital rear view mirror, and it also has settings. So we can go ahead and point this downwards if we like, which is the way that I prefer it. Let's go ahead and put it back up here as well. And so we have a whole bunch of different setups right here. We can also connect our different garage remotes so that we can open up our garage remote at a push of a button right here. What's really cool is because this is such a huge truck, we also have these little grab handles right here. So we have a driver and passenger side grab handle on the A-pillars. And then moving upwards even more right here, you can see we have our control right here. This right here is going to open up the vertical rear sliding window in the back. So you can see if I push open right here, it's going to go ahead and open that rear vertical window. So go ahead and push down now to go ahead and close it up. We also have a panoramic sunroof in this TRD Pro. So it's a sunroof that's going to extend all the way out to the back seats. We have two different options right here. So one is just going to open up the shade and close it. And then this one right here is actually going to go ahead and open up that roof. So let's take a look at what it looks like when it's opened up. So this is my first time opening it up. I have heard that it doesn't go all the way open. So yeah, that's about 40% of the way. We can go ahead and close this back right here. And then we can also close the shade, which I like to drive with just the shade open because it adds a lot of light into the cabin. So let's go ahead and close this up right here right now. Over here, we also have our light control, so we can have the lights turn on when the doors open. We have an emergency SOS button as well as a sunglass holder right here. And with that, there goes the sunshade for the panoramic sunroof. It's all closed up now. For our visors right here, you can see they're pretty large, and then they also will slide out as well. So if we need some extra coverage, we can go ahead and pull this out and slide it out. We also have a mirror here as well. And moving on to the back seats now, you can see because we have the Crew Max configuration in the TRD Pro, it's very, very spacious here. Now, unlike the double cab configuration of the Tundra, where it's going to be really tight right here in the second row, we have plenty of room in the Crew Max. You can see behind the front seats, we also have a little bit of storage right here. In the back, we have another USB Type A, USB Type C, some more storage, as well as a 120-volt power outlet here. Inside this cardboard box, we have our floor mats, which are going to go inside this truck right here. And inside this bag right here, you can see that this truck came with this little Toyota bag. It's an emergency assistance kit, which is a $59 option on this truck. I was just reading about it here. Now, I don't want to open up this little kit right here for somebody else, but I read what it is it's going to include a stainless steel tools. It's got wire cutters, screwdrivers, emergency blanket, flashlight, work gloves. It's got a tire gauge, bungee cord, shop towel. It's got a tether strap, jump cables. So this bag right here has a ton of stuff, and then we also have a first aid kit. Now, this right here is only a $59 option on this Tundra, which in my opinion is pretty worth it. Now, unlike the non-hybrid Tundra model that has some storage right here underneath the seats, because this is a hybrid, you can see we have a little bit of ventilation right here for the batteries. And the normal non-hybrid Tundra would also have some storage right here under the seats. This one right here has no storage, so if I go ahead and just lift up the seat, you can see there's no way to store anything down here. All we have is a relay and fuse box. And lastly, back here, if you're not going to use this middle seat, we can also fold this down, get two cup holders, and we also have our own separate light control at the top of this second row. All right, so that is going to do it for the 2022 Tundra TRD Pro. Let me know what you guys think about this truck. This is probably my favorite Tundra that Toyota has ever made, and I'm honestly considering getting myself one sometime in the future. I think this color is great, and I'm just really in love with this truck. Let me know what you guys think about it, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We do a lot of these videos overviewing the new Toyotas. Lately, we've been doing a lot of just kind of at-home videos, not outside, because we don't have a lot of cars to show, and we're just talking about the 2023 models and the changes that are going to be made to that. So if you guys like the content that you're seeing, hit the like button, subscribe, stay tuned. As we start getting these 2023 models on the lots, we're going to do more overview videos of those. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys all next week. We're going to have some more content coming out. We're probably going to be talking about the 2023 Toyota Tundra and the 2023 Toyota Tacoma soon, as well as some information about the 2023 4Runner. And then, like I said, as we start getting those on the lots, we're going to start making videos going over inside and out all the features about those. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.